Now because the blueberry one is a bit drier, we don't have those liquidy bananas in there, we're going to start to add some liquid. So instead of water, which is what the recipe calls for, remember we're making this more nutritional, we're going to use milk. So I'm placing some skim milk in here, starting with a half a cup at a time and adding as needed. It's going to need more than that. Add another half a cup and then stirring it up and adding more as needed. So we have it kind of, more like the banana, more like that. Now with the addition of the fruit into this mix, obviously the fruit, being a whole berry, doesn't give off a lot of liquid until it's cooking. So just add another half a cup, that's a cup and a half. You see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of going along carefully. Generally don't worry about adding too much liquid when you add this many oats and grains, because as it cooks, those grains will soak up a lot of liquid, but it will also get liquid from the cooking berries. So you don't want to put too much liquid in, because then you've got a really gluey bread that is not going to be too enjoyable for you. It'll kind of seem raw inside, so you don't want to do that. So it looks to me like I used about a cup and a half of milk here, and see, we have a really nice consistency going, and we're just going to let that sit as well and kind of soak up the moisture so that it gives me an idea, again like I said, how much more liquid I need to add in to compensate for all of these oats. And it's great when you use these store-bought mixes, because it saves you so much time, and I know we're all so busy, but here this is a method where you can have more healthy fiber and even fruits and vegetables in your diet through the bread without having to make everything from scratch, and it takes a lot longer. And if I were making one bread, I would be done by now. Okay, now we have another special thing we're going to add. And to these two breads, I'm going to add chickpeas. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put them in my blender with milk, and I'm going to blend them up until I have all chopped up smooth puree of chickpeas. Now, you can use any type of beans you like. I used chickpeas for this one, but you can use lentil beans. I use those as well. They're very healthy. I use black beans. I've used pretty much those. I don't think I've ever used kidney beans, but I mean, you can try that certainly. But mostly I've stuck with lentils and the chickpeas. These are from a can, and all I did was dump out the can in my strainer. This is a strainer, currently has those little blueberries in it that come with the box of blueberry bread, and I rinsed them because they come in like a liquid. The canned beans that I normally buy are by Goya, and I buy the low sodium because I don't like the salt. So I should suggest that to you guys as well. And as far as lentils go, I always make those homemade. They're super quick and easy, and I use them in a lot of recipes. So what you're going to do is you're going to just dump them in your blender, like so. I'm going to get some milk, and I'm going to pour a bunch of milk in there so that they actually have something to work with. Otherwise, they're really not going to blend well in the blender. And I'm going to put the blender on and mix them until they're a fine puree. Start with little chops in the beginning, just to mix it up well. You start with little chops. And then you can put it on liquefy. That's what I use because that's the highest speed. It gets it nice and smooth. If you see it start to struggle, you may have to do one of two things. And that would be to go in with a spoon, make sure it is off, the power is off. And stir it up a little bit because sometimes it cakes a little under the bottom. Or you might need to add more of the liquid, and I'm choosing to add milk. I'm sure somebody's going to ask me about using kefir or yogurt in this recipe. And you can do that if you want even more protein. But you're not going to get the benefits of the acidophilus cultures or any of the other cultures that are in it because once you heat those types of things, you lose the benefits of the active cultures. So if you're just going to do it for the added protein, then go ahead and add your Greek yogurt or whatever you want. But, okay, my stove is 350. I just use milk. That has protein as well. So let's keep blending this until we have a nice liquid. Make sure that you blend them up real smooth. So, take a spoon and divide, because I made two, I'm dividing it between the two. You can certainly use one whole one in a bread if you want. It might be a little much. I've never really put that much in. I've always kind of put half in each. And just spoon it in there. Look how healthy that is. Now you've got added protein from beans cooking up in your bread. So think about how great that is in the morning for breakfast. You're starting your day with enhanced protein. You've got your fruit. Well, our banana bread is pretty done. It's got all of its ingredients in. So we've got all our grains, we've got proteins. Look how healthy. We've got extra eggs in there. Chickpeas are so healthy for you, by the way. Really good for you. And we've got milk. It's just packed with fiber. We're going to have our nuts at the end, and it's like a super start to our day. Just put a little more milk in there. And then I'm going to really give it a good beating. Stir it really well. I'm going to leave that now, and I'm going to work on the blueberry. So here we have our blueberry, and I'm going to stir in the beans on the blueberry, just like we did for the banana. And then we're going to start adding our berries. Now with the blueberries, as I mentioned earlier, while they're cooking inside the bread, they do give off liquid. So we don't want to add an excessive amount of liquid, but we also don't want it too dry. It's got to be just right. Next thing you're going to do is add the little bit of blueberries that came with this mix. It had like a little jar of blueberries in there. You rinse them out, you put it in there. It's kind of wimpy. We need more. Stir them around a little bit, and then you're going to take your fruit, my blueberries, fresh ones, and I'm just going to put them in. And they were frozen, and I took them out, and now I'm just going to stir them right in there. And I'll decide if I want more or less by the way it looks. Now feel free to add anything else to your breads that you like nuts, or with the banana bread sometimes I'll add chocolate chips. And this looks like about the right amount of blueberries. If I add too many blueberries, then it's just too blueberry-y. So that looks pretty good to me. What do you guys think, right? See? Looks pretty good. And next we're going to do is put it in our pans. I have loaf pans. I have glass loaf Pyrex. But because these are so large, I mean, look how big that is. It's 3 times the size of what it normally would have been. Let's just check our banana, and that looks perfect. I'm going to use my springform pan and another pan that I have to cook it in. And what we're going to do is simply use our olive oil spray, and we are going to spray the inside of it. That's all you do, and then you're going to put it right in there.